And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto episode 235. Today is Friday, August 24th, and I'm King. Bitcoin Zay is out on business today, so I'll be holding it down myself. I'll go ahead and wait a couple minutes for everybody to start flowing on in here. For the free Bitcoin yesterday, for the free Satoshis, we did not have any winners. No one put anything down, so we are going to push that until Monday. But today's a good day. There's actually some news out there. Happy to see that. What's going on, Antonio? What's going on, Ghost Acosta? You know, unlike the rest of the past couple of weeks, it's been pretty quiet. There's actually some good news out there, some pretty cool stories. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. The first one is the Ethereum conference call as well. I think it was a sit-in as well, which happened today. Looks like a set of Ethereum stakeholders were in attendance at an upcoming developer call, according to Ethereum Foundation Communication Officer Hudson Jameson. It took place today at 1400 UTC, and it aimed to address some of the platform's most challenging questions ahead of its system-wide upgrade planned for October. You can see here the three concepts they wanted to talk about today were the difficulty bomb, the Ether issuance, and ASIC resistance, of course, you know, to see if that's going to be prioritized. We know all about Bitmain, their ASIC miners, where they can basically mine Ethereum and Bitcoin and a few other cryptos out there much more efficiently and effectively than any other miner out there. And of course, a lot of cryptos such as Monero wants to make their crypto ASIC resistance, so it isn't a concentration of centralized mining power going down. Jamal J, what's going on? Tuning all the way from Kingston, Jamaica. There we go. New Legacy, good morning. Ghost Acosta says CBS did an episode on Bitcoin mining. I didn't see that, but I need to watch it. Marcellus Love, good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. So for those who are, you know, fully invested in Ethereum, or at least like to see what happens with a lot of tech upgrades, I think they'll be releasing the brunt of this call later on today. I'm sure Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, and everybody will have the articles on this by later on today, if not by Monday of next week. So we'll have a lot more to talk about. But it looks like a lot of stakeholders in the Ethereum community were involved in this call, or at least made statements. Looks like they said we have multiple miners, including nearly 50% of Ethereum hashing power, about 46%, either attending the call or making statements that will be read during the call. So, I mean, this is going to predict a lot of Ethereum's future, at least in the short term, next couple of months, to figure out what would happen when they talk about some of these big proposals that went up, these Ethereum implementation proposals. Again, this is coming from the Ethereum Foundation, so not much word on it yet. But, you know, listening in or reading about it later on today, we can have a better idea where Ethereum plans to go. So, Tessa, what's going on? Crowdfunding giant Indiegogo lists first security token ICO. This is huge news because this may be the future of ICOs, security token ICOs as we know it. Crowdfunding giant Indiegogo announced that it will expand its nascent initial coin offering listing service to include security tokens, and the first such offering is now live on this platform. Looks like the first token is the St. Regis Aspen Resort, luxury hotel nestled in Colorado's Rocky Mountains. The offering is restricted to accredited investors, of course, who are allowed to contribute to purchase Aspen coins, which represent tokenized shares in a single asset real estate investment trust created exclusively for the purpose of holding the $18 million in St. Regis Aspen stock made available through the sale. Again, it was one of those things we talk about every day where you don't need Indiegogo. You don't need any of these platforms to have an ICO. We know that. You can literally just put ICO up on the internet, throw your white paper on there if you even have one, or even better, a working product or project. You can have that on there and receive money from around the world. But of course, because of the regulations these days, they're trying to turn all ICOs into security tokens. That's a new word. A lot of people are starting to float around. Guaranteed in the next couple of months, you will have security token experts out there as well. That'll be their little official hitting. So security tokens are getting bigger. That's a new buzzword, and Indiegogo is the first person to go ahead and move forward launching it. And again, I see this happening more only because this is the way the government can control it and regulate it. They say, hey, you can go on these platforms already established. Indiegogo is the other one, the other big crowdfunding platform out there. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, you can go to some of these platforms where you can list your security token, and they already have KYC, AML requirements there for the government to go ahead and peek in there and figure out which persons or group of persons are buying these securities. So you know what? It looks like this may be the future of where we're going, at least in the States here. And congrats to Indiegogo for being the first ones to actually list it, even though, again, you don't need their support to actually do it. But, you know, if you want to play by the government rules, I guess this is a way to do it. Sam Han, thanks for catching us live. Make it live, and what's going on, Jizzy Mac? Yeah, accredited investors for crap coins. There you go. Yeah, because I mean, looking at this, you know, to be honest, this St. Regis' Aspen token, it probably was better it was listed on a platform like Indiegogo, because in the open market, the truly free market, I'm not sure how well it would do. Buying shares in a hotel in Colorado, that's a lot of due diligence you need to do to make sure your return on investment is coming. And unless, you know, granted, I know Colorado has a lot of stuff going for it, the cannabis industry, film festivals, skiing, tourists and all that, but I'm not sure it's enough for a lot of people around the world to say, hey, I want to buy these Aspen coins and actually use it. So for something like this, it may have been the best way forward to go with the place like Indiegogo and go through the security token process and not necessarily label it a pure and a true ICO. But by and large, you're right, Jizzy Mac. I don't know who in the crypto space would be, you know, fighting to buy this token here. Oh, what's going on, Shannon Allen? Shannon Allen actually just got, he's with Cryptic Coin. They just got that listed on the bull market, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong with the name of it, the bull exchange. So congrats to them as well. Oh, man, this is a great story I love to read. It made my teeth white this morning. A fight is breaking out over Bitcoin Cash, and it just might split the code. We talked about this last week where it looked like Bitcoin Cash had kicked out one of their core developers out of the, I think it was like a Slack channel or Telegram channel or something, Telegram group. But it looks like a lot of Bitcoin Cash developers are going at it with one another to the point they are considering actually doing a hard fork. You don't say. This is the same thing that happened with Bitcoin around the same time last year. I think it was toward the end of July, early August, when Bcash came about saying that, hey, they were the better Bitcoin and they wanted to try to steal the marketing and the name. Of course, Roger Ver, Craig Wright, Jahan Wu was leading that charge. You know, everyone in the Bitcoin community was saying that, hey, looks like another crap coin. It's a scam. They're just trying to pull the marketing away to have their own coin. To pump and dump it, as we saw happen when it was on Coinbase, and then allegedly, even though we actually saw it happen, the pump and dump happen. Of course, Roger Ver was pumping and dumping it himself. You had the Bitcoin Cash puppets bouncing around everybody's channel comments, and again, a lot of the conversation when it came to Bitcoin, Bcash, and Bitcoin was about the block weight, or you know, the block size, and what we should do for scaling purposes. And Bcash claimed they had all the answers and they wanted to fork away, which they did, and now they are going through their own internal struggles. These same things Bcash were getting after Bitcoin about, their own internal developers going back and forth, which includes cross-atomic swaps, it looked like, which of course is a great idea in the community, where you can trade one crypto for other ones without having to go on an exchange. And of course, it looks like a lot of people weren't happy with Craig Wright. You know, he's the person who said he's the real Satoshi, even though Ethereum's founder, Vitalik Buterin, called him fake Satoshi and a fraud at one of the conferences. And of course, that caused a little bit more infighting. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where, you know, it's interesting to see a group of people, a small group of people who thought they had all the answers, even though deep down we know they knew they didn't have all the answers, but it was a great way to make some more money. And now they're going through the same thing with their own crowd. So it's actually good to see that, because it was so many people hell-bent on Bcash being the future of everything. And now to see that they actually might have a hard fork themselves is quite amazing. It truly is amazing to see that happen all within 12 months. And again, Bitcoin has been out now since 2009, people. We're creeping up on 10 years. Bitcoin Cash has been around for 1 year, for 12, 13 months, and they're already about to have a hard fork because of their own developers not agreeing with the way that the project is going. So, yeah, Bcash is beefing, and it's pretty funny. Antonio said, LOL, this is true. Can't see Bitcoin Cash lasting. No, I don't see it lasting that much longer either. What's going on, Angela Brown? Again, you can read this story. This is on CoinDesk. If you've been tracking what's been going on since last summer when the fork first happened with Bcash and they started this whole marketing thing. I mean, if you remember, they were all over CNBC. They had Brian Kelly and their team and his team believing everything about Bcash until finally, I think about 3 or 4 months later, they finally went back and retracted some of their statements. And it's like, hey, Bcash is just another altcoin. But initially, with the marketing they had going, I mean, literally, you would have thought, you know, for first-time users, you would have thought Bcash was the real Bitcoin. So to see them go back and forth is amazing. And even better is the follow-up story to this. It's on a different site. So this story, the fight's breaking out on Bcash. That's on CoinDesk if you want to see it. This follow-up story is on CCN. But it says commercial use of Bitcoin Cash payments has dropped. Analytics firm has put out. Again, to keep talking about Bcash, one of their claims of fame Roger Ver was promoting all throughout the news last year was that, hey, we're scaling better than Bitcoin. We're faster, more merchants accept it, more people use it. None of those statements were true. They didn't scale faster than Bitcoin. They didn't have to scale to the amount of people Bitcoin had to. So, of course, their payments were going through a little bit faster. But that's also because allegedly Roger Ver and his sock puppets were spamming the Bitcoin network, which means trying to do a lot of transactions for like 5 cents or 10 cents or 1 penny to clog that network up. So for people who have bigger transactions, it would take longer for it to happen. It would become more expensive. So that was happening last year. Throughout the whole time, Roger Ver kept saying, hey, we're a faster chain, we're scaling better and all this good stuff. But it looks like this adoption actually wasn't true and it has stalled. In a review conducted by the firm, what is this firm name? It is called, in a report published on Bloomberg, blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis says that the Bitcoin fork is barely being used in commerce. It says that it looks like Bcash payments have went from $10.5 million in March 2018 to $3.7 million in May. I know dudes who got $3.7 million. So if that's it, Bitcoin payments also slumped though from a peak of 412 million. Well, they're going back to September 2017, so that's technically not fair. But to 60 million right now in May. So again, you know, you can read through this article and it's showing that, you know, people are using Bcash less, they're adopting it less. They're also saying that, let's see, of course, they're saying they think the adoption has been low due to the concentration of ownership. Chainalysis records about 56% of Bcash being controlled by 67 wallets not located on crypto exchanges. Of those wallets, 2 of them hold between 10,000 and 100,000 Bitcoin Cash. I wonder whose wallets those are. It can only be a handful of people. But again, you know, they're still pushing the Bcash narrative. Can't be mad at them from a business point of view because that was a great way to get a lot of money in a short amount of time. But looks like they are being exposed finally. And again, this is one of the things we said, not just with Bcash, with some of the exchanges, with some of the companies out there. We said everyone's going to audit themselves once Bitcoin drops. Once Bitcoin goes in that bear market, everyone's going to audit themselves. Perfect example, BitConnect. Everyone believed, I won't say everyone, all those who did believe in BitConnect thought it could do no wrong. We kept saying, wait until the price of Bitcoin drops and see what happens. Immediately, as soon as Bitcoin started dropping, BitConnect was like, hey, due to all the pressure, we're gone. It wasn't just them. There was a couple other companies out there. You saw some of these hedge funds that popped up last year. Same thing with them. They said they were going to delay, either delay opening or, they were going to delay sending out reports because things are going on. And now we're seeing it with Bcash. The price of Bitcoin has dropped and literally they're showing themselves to be another altcoin, another crap coin that's out there that doesn't do anything special. And even worse, now their developers are splitting in half and threatening to leave and do a hard fork. So again, right now, the main coin out there is Bitcoin, people. You don't have to be a maximalist, but you should at least get that full one before you get the rest of everything. Korea's biggest crypto exchange, Upbit, makes $100 million profit in the bear market. Those are those transaction fees, people. Upbit, South Korea's biggest crypto exchange, has seen a profit of $100 million in the third quarter of 2018, despite the bear market and decline in trading volume. That is huge. And this is a big story, not only because of Upbit and that money they're making, but for the whole crypto industry, again, to show that there are crypto companies, there are crypto exchanges that can do very well, that can turn into these unicorn companies that you always hear about. And Upbit looks like it's on its way. You're making $100 million in 1 quarter profit. That is a huge number. It looks like Upbit, however, wanted to keep this on the low. You know, this article kind of talks about it. Upbit wanted to keep this quiet. And the reason why is because the government in South Korea already raided their offices a couple months ago. You remember they seized their servers, computers, and hard drives. Even though they didn't find anything illegal or suspicious, they did all that. So I think it's also one of those things where Upbit, you know, don't want the world, especially the Korean government, South Korean government, to know that they're making that much money, because that means now they will have to give over, I think it's up to like 40% or something in taxes to the government. Of course, it's unfair, but that is the way gangs work, people. They aren't fair. Looks like Upbit has a value of its holdings at $1.2 billion. Again, we're talking about these unicorn companies. That definitely qualifies it as one. And this would do nothing more than to bring more attention to the industry, which is always good news for us. And last but certainly not least, Pornhub is back in the news again. Pornhub has partnered with Pumapay to accept crypto as payments. That is right. Pornhub is in here. Again, Canadian adult entertainment streaming website Pornhub announced a partnership with crypto payment and billing startup Pumapay to enable its users payments in cryptocurrencies, according to a tweet August 23rd. If you remember, Pornhub has already started accepting Verge. I believe it was in April. And now they're doing Pumapay as their second one. It has a unique pool payment protocol that will allow users automatically pay for their subscriptions, including Pornhub Premium. That's actually really good, people. Not the part that you can really just pay for your porn, but the fact that you can automatically pay for subscriptions. I want to see how that's going to work on a wider scale when it comes to cryptocurrency, and this is a great test bed for it to see, because one of the issues we're having in crypto right now, it hasn't really been addressed, it's not that important, but it is, hey, how can we pay for subscriptions? How can we do things where we automatically pay for things? For our education group, we only have it where you can buy a year packet with crypto. We don't have the monthly packets up for cryptocurrency because you can't renew it automatically. So if this is able, this pool payment protocol, if this is real and it actually works, where you can have a cryptocurrency now where you can set it up for whether it's Pornhub or a newspaper subscription or any other website subscription you want. I don't know, YouTube Red, since we're on YouTube, maybe giving them a shout out or make them stop shadow banning us. But if you have one of these payment protocols or pool payment protocols where you can have you can automatically pay for subscriptions through your cryptocurrency, and you can throw that on the Bitcoin blockchain or Monero blockchain or Zcash or whatever you want, and automatically pay for things, pulling from your crypto account without you having to do anything extra, that would be huge. And of course, while it's still being secured. That's a big thing about the pool payment protocol. You know, I haven't looked into this one, but my only thing will be, do you have to share some type of API, or do you have to share your private keys or anything like that? If you don't, this would be huge for the community. So we'll see what happens with it. But if you want to check this story out, Pornhub and Pumapay also made like a little video commercial entitled Pornhub and Pumapay Save the World. Here you can see a guy eating a donut, and throughout it, you know, has military and all this extra stuff. And they're basically just showing you why cryptocurrency for Pornhub is amazing. Even here, they say send nudes. And I'm assuming they're showing you how to pay with it throughout the commercial as well. So they really put a lot of money into it. Hopefully it works as advertised. But yeah, it's pretty good, pretty interesting news for the community. Yes, make sure you smash that like and share, folks. So the free Bitcoin today, again, short show, but for the free Satoshis today, I want to know is if putting crypto payments on places like Pornhub, what does that do for the community? Is that good or bad for the crypto community to drive adoption through porn? You know, your Pornhub now has two. They have this pool payment protocol. It might work, it might not. But is this a good thing to see? Is it a good thing to highlight in the crypto community? Or is this something we should shun away from? Go ahead and leave us your answer and make sure you drop that public address as well. And we will make sure we get back to you with those free Satoshis. Other than that, people, have a happy Friday. Hopefully we hear some good news going into the next few weeks for crypto with some of these decisions. Though more than likely it'll be another quiet end of the summer going into the fall. So until then, we'll see you Monday and have a great weekend. Cheers.